A great mother will not only love her kids unconditionally, but she will also try to move mountains for them. In August 2011, my family and I went camping at Lake Elmore. We didn't know that this beautiful, sun-filled day would become a 4-month endless nightmare. Though most spots were taken, we looked out and found a spot and spent the next 2 hours setting up while the kids had a blast playing in the water. Then, my 2-year-old son stumbled into camp, repeating, "Mom, Mom, Mom," over and over again. Jokingly, I thought, what has he gotten into? But then we realized something was seriously wrong. Did he get into the medicine? Something weird at the campground? The water? I gave him a dose of children's Benadryl and waited. 3 hours in, it wasn't getting any better. I looked at his face and his big blue eyes. He was scared and confused. I took him and my eldest son to the hospital and explained to 3 nurses and a doctor what I'd seen and knew. One of my kids told me that she saw him get into my diet pills called Hoodia. Is that what he had taken? I felt his pain. My heart skipped beats and tears were starting down my cheeks. I knew what those pills made me feel like. His little heart rate was skyrocketing and his voice was stuck on the word, Mom, Mom, Mom. I agreed to allow the nurses give my 2-year-old son a catheter for a urine sample since he couldn't go on his own. The pain that my baby endured while putting in the catheter was unbearable, but I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought I was getting him help. After waiting and pacing, my eldest son and I went to the restroom. 10 minutes later, police officers are walking towards our room. I felt like I was in a dream. Where were the results that I had been asking for? Your baby tested positive for amphetamines, methamphetamines, the doctor said. What? I had been clean for years. John and my mother-in-law were clean too. So how the hell could this have happened? My heart sank and I started sobbing. I called my mother-in-law to bring everything to the hospital and to look through any medications and bring everything and anything Liam may have gotten into. The cops wanted a urine sample and I couldn't go since I had just gone. I drank ice water, juice, and soda. I could not go. I asked them to take my blood and they refused. The sheriff had me turn my baby over to his dad and told me to come with him, escorted me out of the hospital, and handcuffed me. What am I being arrested for? Child abuse, and I'll probably add obstruction of justice, resisting and delaying a peace officer. I didn't say a word as he drove me handcuffed to Quincy. I was in jail for 4 days. My other 4 children were taken away from us and placed in foster care. My baby Liam was airlifted to Renown Medical in Reno, Nevada. I was never asked to give a sample. When I got out, I went to the doctor and paid for my own drug screening. The nightmare of having my kids taken away was too intense to bear. My guts felt like something was ripping my insides out with sandpaper and a blowtorch. Your children will be removed until assumptions, accusations. The doctor up in Chester helped spread the rumor I gave my kid meth. Really? Who does that? Being away from my kids made me feel like I was a piece of shit mother for allowing something like this to happen. My mother-in-law said the kids were scared for me and Liam. I wasn't allowed to speak to my kids. As time went on, I realized the only way out was to get an out-of-county lawyer. I gave her the information and proof of the bitten into pill packet. After doing my own research on Hoodia, I learned that there's an ingredient called P57 that will give a false positive test for meth. We had jumped through so many county hoops just to see our kids. 3 days a week, we had to volunteer for drug testing twice a week at random. We had to attend parenting classes. I had to attend a Getting Recovery into Perspective group, along with my regular schedule of school and work. It was humiliating, but I was determined to move this mountain. I was determined to get them back regardless of whether anyone believed me or not. We lost them in August. We got them back in November. It was the longest season ever. It took everything in my power to stand up for the truth, but I did it, and in the end, my felony charges were dropped. I did agree to a misdemeanor charge of delaying or resisting or obstructing a peace officer. I received 3 years probation, was to obey the law, and my kids were finally home. I felt bad still. No one should make assumptions about other people without anything to back it up. I fought faithfully to prove my innocence. My kids needed to know I was innocent. But they were home, and that was all that mattered most. After doing 1.5 years of probation, I went before the judge and requested an honorable discharge of probation, and it was granted. I thought for a while I would never get them back, But with lots of support, I did it. As I write this, I sit here watching the kids fight and argue. I realize that even though my house is always loud and chaotic, and all 5 kids seem to turn their hearing off the moment I begin talking, I'm right where I need to be. I moved mountains slowly every day for 4 months. This quick, happy camping trip turned into a lifelong lesson. I have no regrets. Before all this happened, I can honestly say I took my kids for granted. My kids during and after this nightmare thought I was the coolest mom around because I fought so hard for them, for me, to keep our family together.